Some true stories are just so wild, they feel like they were written for a movie. Today, we're diving into a case from 1998 that is absolutely stranger than fiction. It's a mystery that starts with a woman vanishing and then unfolds with a series of clues that just defy all logic. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. This quote right here says it all. A series of strange events that amount to the plot of a Hollywood movie. And honestly, that's the perfect way to put it. Because as we're about to see, the clues in this case are just so weird, so theatrical, it almost feels like someone wanted them to be found. Okay, so before we get into all the bizarre clues, I think it's really important to remember that there's a real person at the center of this. So let's start there. Let's talk about who Diane Augat actually was. So, to really get a picture of what might have happened, you have to look at her life leading up to that day. Diane was 30 years old, living in Odessa, Florida, and she was going through some really, really tough times. She'd been diagnosed with severe bipolar disorder, which, as you can imagine, had a huge impact on her life. It led to some devastating losses. She lost custody of her kids, her husband divorced her. She was just in a really vulnerable place, even self-medicating with drugs and alcohol to cope. And then April 10th, 1998 happened. This is the day everything changed. Her story goes from one of personal struggle to, honestly, one of the most baffling, unsolved mysteries I've ever come across. She just walked out of her home and vanished. Completely. But here's the thing. Her disappearance didn't just leave behind silence and questions. No, it left a trail of clues. And these clues are so bizarre, so disturbing, that each one just makes the mystery even deeper. So what exactly did investigators find? Well, the really strange stuff started happening just 3 days after she disappeared. And right away, it was clear to everyone this was not your typical missing person case. Not by a long shot. Okay, so this timeline right here gives you a sense of just how wild this got and how fast. It all kicks off with this totally chilling phone call. Then things get even more disturbing with a gruesome piece of physical evidence. And finally, a clue that is so strange, you'd think it was made up. Let's break each of these down. All right, first up, the phone call. On April 13th, a message gets left on Diane's answering machine. Her mom checks the caller ID, and it just says Starlight. Weird, right? No one knew who or what Starlight was. So she calls the number back, but nothing. Dead air. The real kicker, though, was what was on the answering machine. This is what they heard. A voice sounding frantic, pleading, "Help, help, let me out." And then you hear what sounds like a struggle, and another voice cuts in saying, "Hey, gimme that." It literally sounds like they're fighting over the phone. And that was it. It's the last time anyone ever heard a voice that might have been Diane's. Okay, and if that phone call wasn't terrifying enough, just 2 days later, the case takes an absolutely horrifying turn. The severed tip of Diane's right middle finger was found. I mean, just think about that. This discovery changed everything. It confirmed everyone's worst fears. This wasn't just a missing person case anymore. This was violent. This was foul play for sure. And then it just gets weirder. About 2 weeks later, an employee at a local convenience store is going about their day, and they find something in one of the freezers. And get this, it's a plastic bag with Diane's clothes inside. But they weren't just stuffed in there. They were all neatly folded. It's so peculiar, right? It makes no sense. It's a clue that feels like it was put there on purpose, almost to mess with the police. So let's recap. We've got a desperate phone call, a gruesome piece of evidence, and a bag of neatly folded clothes staged in a convenience store freezer. I mean, these clues feel like they're straight out of the middle of a thriller movie, right? But in this real-life story, the ending was just never written. And that's the thing. Even with this trail of clues that seems like it was designed to be found, the investigation just hit a total dead end, a complete brick wall. No suspect has ever been named. To this day, nobody knows what really happened to Diane Augat. And that really is the question that makes this case so haunting, isn't it? You have a plot that's fit for Hollywood with all these vivid, theatrical clues. So how can the story just stop? How can there be no ending? It's a really chilling reminder that sometimes even the most bizarre trail of evidence can lead you absolutely nowhere.